When reading research papers, you're not supposed to read a research paper word for word. If you're actually doing this, you get tired, you get burnt out, you'll be very slow, and sometimes you start doubting your intelligence because you'll be feeling like, why am I so slow? And why am I not publishing like every other person? And that's the thing when you start comparing and competing with other people. When I was doing my master's, I used to waste so much time reading one paper. It was so difficult for me because I was reading papers because I had to write papers, and then I also have to prepare for my Chinese because you also need to be good in Chinese. So it was like doing two things at the same time, and it was so difficult. When I was doing my master's, I had to be looking for help, asking people to assist me because I had limited time to complete my thesis. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you the most effective way to read your research paper and how to read it very fast. These are some of the things that I feel like top researchers are doing, or what works for me, so that you will not feel mentally exhausted and you will not be stressed, so that you'll be able to read a paper 2 to 3 times faster.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning.
The first mistake that students make is reading a paper as if they are reading a novel. Let me tell you, I love to read novel, but you see research paper, it is not like a novel. It is so boring, so hard. Some of those methods, some of those things, you're probably even seeing it for the first time. Yes. So it's not even easy to read a paper, and you shouldn't even like look down on yourself because this is well known. Yes, worldwide is well known that reading research papers is very, very difficult. That's why a lot of people are not doing PhD, obviously. So for you now taking this bold step to read papers, this is someone's probably 4 years work, right? Because a lot of people take a lot of time to do research, right? So this is something new that probably someone have done that you're actually trying to read. So you need to like give yourself grace while you're reading that. You need to know that every sentence, citation, everything is like sometimes difficult. For me, I feel like when you're reading a research paper, you need to actually scan. Read a paper like you are scanning, right? Yeah, that's the truth. Read the research paper like you're scanning first. Let me give you like the 7 steps of how you can actually just read a paper and it will really, really help you. So the first step is to read the abstract. You want to spend like 2 to 3 minutes reading the abstracts, reading the title. You want to understand the problem that paper is solving. You want to understand the methods that is being used, whether it's even applied to your topic, because sometimes when you're actually reading a paper, it might not even be related to your field. So you just know, okay, no, I don't want to waste my time reading this paper because it's not even related to my field. So if you do not take that time to read your abstract, to read the title, you just realize that you're wasting a lot of time, right? You also want to know, were they able to actually solve this problem? You want to understand the framework, and you want to do this within like 2 to 3 minutes, okay? So the next thing you do is to jump to the conclusion. In the conclusion, you actually know the gap, right? The research gap and maybe the limitation. Were they able to solve all the problems, and what problems did they encounter while solving this? You need to also understand this while you're actually reading that research paper. Now you have actually fully understood the paper before you even start reading, just reading the abstract and the conclusion. And before you even start getting papers, there's something that I use that really, really helped me, and it's called Zotero. Okay, so this is like an app. You can download the app, and with this Zotero, you can be able to get papers. And what I do is that I downloaded the app, and I also have the tool on my browser, right? So if I send a paper, I save the paper. What this Zotero do is that it saves the title, the abstract, and maybe if it's allowed to save the PDF, it will also save the PDF copy. This helped me, okay? So now I'm just like going through papers, and I'm just like using this Zotero to just download papers that I would want to read. Then I'll still go back and scan through the title to know which one that it's not really related to the topic that I want to write. So now I have to like start deleting the ones that are not important before I actually start reading the abstract, then the conclusion. Then you want to go into the figures, you want to go into the tables, you want to go into graphs. Because somehow, if you are actually like reading the table, if you are reading the figure or just the graph, you can actually just understand the method. Like as an AI engineer, and if there is something, most times while you're actually designing or you're doing like your data analysis or whatever, or you're trying to solve a problem, it's you show through the maybe the figure or through the graph or whatever that you're actually like working on. And if anyone understand my method and they can just go through my figure, they literally can just understand what I'm doing. If they can just go through like the image or the thing I'm working on, they can easily just understand. They can actually understand the model, the AI model I'm using. So that will even help you to understand the framework that the person is working on. So just going through the table, the figure, the graph and the model and framework, just to understand, okay, what is this person working on? It will help you understand like 60% of the research paper, to be honest. Then you actually go into the introduction, and this part you're going to just come through. You're not even going to be reading in detail. Yes. In the introduction part, you want to understand the problem that's actually solved, whether they actually even solved the problem. You want to understand the research gap. Just that you don't even understand whether it's even related somehow. You want to understand whether the study matters. Does this matter to you? Right? Is this even important? Because I feel like in the introduction, you will even be able to say a lot of history, what other researchers have done. So you can be able to understand whether, okay, is this research even important? Should I really do this? Then you actually skim the methodology. You want to understand the method that's actually used to actually solve the problem. And to be honest, when you're reading the methodology, it's either because, okay, you know what, this paper really, really, really is related to what I'm doing. So you're probably trying to like maybe like copy it. Maybe you're trying to replicate the study, or you're trying to just compare with what the researcher have done. If this is important to your field, for the method, the reason why I feel like you don't need to be too focused on the method, because I mean, like, you don't have to understand the equation. I mean, like, if you don't understand the equation, it's fine, because you just want to get the ideology of that paper. So for methodology, if it's not really related to your work, you don't need to like stress about that methodology. While you're actually reading, you want to actually extract some of these things. You forget, like you want to like jot them down. Like you can use it. You can actually jot them down in maybe the Zotero notes, or you can just jot them down in the Word document. You want to like write down some important things so that you don't have to forget. Like you want to write the author, the date, the methods, the key findings, the limitations, whether this is important to your work or if it even relates to your work. So now you want to actually use like a 30 to 45 minutes rule, meaning like if you're reading a paper and you're realizing that, oh my god, I'm spending so much time on this paper, like it's getting to like 40 minutes or so, please go to the next paper. I would even say shorter, because you're not writing yet. You're just like scanning, you're just reading, you're just trying to get like an idea of what the paper is about. You don't want to do like a deep reading yet, right? You just want to have like an ideology of what this paper is about. So you don't want to spend too much time on just one paper. Some papers are like foundation, some papers like a background, and some papers are noise. Like some papers, you don't even need to literally waste your time reading that paper. To be honest, it's not like I'm trying to look down on any paper. It's just the truth. There's some paper that you just download like this, and when you start reading the paper, it's like, Kai, why did I even download this paper? It's not even related to my work. And sometimes you even think it's related because maybe the title it kind of go in related with your own. But when you start reading it, just be like, why is this paper like this? I don't even think it's related. So it's that there's some papers that are like noise, there's some papers that are like important, and it's just for you to understand this. Reading paper can just be very, very tiring, and it can be very boring because the language is very, very complex, right? Some of the language that they use is kind of complex. And if you don't even have a strong foundation in your field, you would always like not understand what you're reading. There's always like this pressure for you to understand everything. There's always this pressure for you to write and understand this. That for me, I think one of the reasons that I can just read a paper or write a paper is because I do not really care much about the fact that I have to understand everything that the author is writing. No, I just need to have like an ideology of what the author is working on, or I just need to like pick some important things that are important to me and just work in it. So this is something that I'll actually advise you to also do. Do not be like so like, oh, you know what, if I don't understand it, then maybe I'm dumb. No, yeah, reading paper can make you start doubting your intelligence, especially when it gets to the point where you need to start submitting your papers and then you start getting rejected. It can discourage you, but I'm telling you, you have to be strong, okay? You have to really be strong. I need you to understand that when you are reading a paper, you need to read with a purpose. You need to ask yourself, okay, what am I trying to get from this paper? What is important about this paper? And that's the first thing. Like, don't just open a paper and just be like, okay, you know what, I just need to like meet up the deadline. No, you need to have like some kind of passion about what you're doing. That's why when you're reading a paper, you need to just have like I need to know what I need to ensure that I have like an idea of what I would want to get from this paper. Also, I feel like another thing that a lot of people used to do is that they like to compare themselves with other people. I understand that there are some people that they publish so many papers and you start feeling like, oh my god, I'm just in this one paper, and maybe even your supervisor might actually be putting like a kind of pressure on you, and you start comparing yourself with other people. But I'm here to tell you that you're unique, you're different. Do not compete or compare yourself with someone else. Sometimes those people may publish so many papers and it's not even like in a good journal. Why you like you probably even took your time, maybe you even just published one or two and it's in a very good journal and it's really, really good. The truth is we're not even the same. So people know how to read very fast. Some people pretend that they know how to read very fast. I need you to focus on comprehension, not like competition. I need you to focus on like trying to understand your field, not that you are trying to compete with anyone. Because at the end of the day, why did you go to school? You went to school because you want to understand, you want to learn. Yes, so don't be ashamed of yourself when you start feeling like I'm behind. No, do not ever, ever doubt yourself or feel ashamed of yourself because you are a student, you are learning, and I don't care whether you're doing your PhD, I don't care whether you're doing your master's. You're a student, you are here to learn. Nobody should make you feel like you are on this rat race. I feel like this is something that I always tell myself because, especially if you're studying in a country like China, I mean, there's a way they are that they are very fast. There's always this pressure. I always remind myself I'm an international student. I'm not a Chinese. So I need to like work with my own pace. And I also do like strategic publications. Like I'm always very strategic with how I read. I'm always strategic with how I'm working on my papers. I know my strength, I know my weakness. I do not like to like deceive myself or be like, oh, I can do this when I know I cannot do it. I do not like to deceive myself and be like, okay, you know what, I don't need help. When I need help, I actually go for it. I don't pretend and I don't even compare myself with anybody. And this is something that I really think that really helped me. And another thing that I used to do, which I would say that, okay, you know what, that's what's kind of put pressure on me. I kind of pressurize myself on the amount of papers, oh, I would like to write, or amount of papers I would like to publish. So sometimes, even though I'm not even able to like reach that goal, I would have achieved something because I did set a goal and I'm working towards my goal. So I would have achieved some things, right? So that's the thing. I think goal setting really, really works if you have like a goal of how many papers you want to publish for that year or how many papers you want to write for that year, and then you're working towards it. I feel like it's really, really help you. Another thing that really helped me, and this one really, really helped me, is that I always use like AI to do like a quick summary. So now before I want to like read a paper, because I understand that reading paper is not like so easy, it can be so boring and so difficult. I like to use AI to like explain the paper well, like before I even start reading it. Like I want AI to just give me like a good explanation, because some of these people that are writing this paper, they write the language in such a complexing manner that you are reading the paper, you don't even understand, right? So I like to tell AI, you know what, please just give me a quick summary. Simplify it like you are talking to a baby, like you are talking to a child, okay? So AI kind of just explain it to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where this person is coming from. So now when I'm reading the paper, it's actually like so easy. So this is something that you can actually do. And for you that you are just starting, you can actually start with do like review paper. Like you don't have to like publish like a paper, you can just do like a review paper, because it will help you to even read more papers, to have an idea of what you're working on. It's not like you're already like working on data when you don't even know what you are doing. You're already like working on experiments. No, you can actually start with like a systematic review and start writing like review papers first. Even professors, even teachers, they do not just spend time reading a paper and just taking so long in reading a paper. No, they actually like calm, right? They just go through them, just like go through them and move on to the next paper. That's how you should also like train yourself. You should train yourself that, okay, if I'm going to be reading this paper, I'm just like trying to have like, what is the ideology first? Because you're not writing yet. You are just trying to read. Is when you're going to start writing. But the truth is, when you're reading, you can be writing. Let me tell you, you can be reading and be writing. Anyone that works for you. But for me, I just like to first have an idea of what the writer is talking about first before I even like start writing, so that I really understand. Not that I'm just starting and I don't understand. Another thing that I really like to do is I don't really waste so much time on reading. I put my mind that I'm writing, I'm not reading. But while I'm writing, I kind of now start understanding, right? So I think because I'm a content creator and I'm just using the same strategy that I use when I'm creating content to when I'm writing. Because when I'm creating content, when I'm writing, I focus on the title. So the first thing I love to do is to get a good title, right? Then I don't waste time going to read what people are doing or watch other people's videos. So that's like the way I'm also thinking when I'm writing like my academic papers. I'm not focused on just, okay, you know what, I want to do what this person did. No, I will do what I want to do, right? So, yes, maybe I'll get like an idea from your topic because maybe I like your topic, but I'm not going to be too focused on doing what you did. I'm not going to be too focused on doing exactly what you did. So, I'm just going to try to have like, okay, a little understanding of what you did, but I'll prefer to just do what I want to do and write what I want to do. That's why it is like you being like creative, is you bringing something new. You're trying to solve a problem in your own way with your own knowledge, because you did your bachelor's, you did your master's. There's many things you know already. You are not coming to do PhD because like you're dumb. You come to do PhD because you have a lot of idea, you have a lot of knowledge. You're just trying to use what you already have and put it into like your own work under like a supervision or the supervisor that will guide you and help you, right? And another difficulty for me is just the fact that maybe my supervisor may not even know how to speak English. So it's almost like I'm literally like almost doing everything on my own, which is so hard. If probably I remember like when I had like my supervisor in bachelor's who was like speaking English, like was so cool, because anything I did not know, I would go to him. Like I was always like disturbing him for the little things. I don't even care if anybody think I'm dumb. I don't care. And he really, really helped me, to be honest. If you are a master's or a PhD student and you really, really feel overwhelmed reading, just comment down below. I will read more effectively. If you want more content about surviving PhD, scholarship opportunities, study abroad, and research opportunities, please subscribe to my channel. We're actually like building a community here, and I also have some really good support things that I have, and you can also check the description below because I actually offer support to people that are actually trying to study abroad or probably looking for scholarship opportunities. You can actually check description below to actually contact me or even book like a one-on-one consultation with me. I would see you guys in my next video. Please do well to like the video, subscribe to my channel. Okay, bye.